Welcome to Cardboard Box Games. I'm Adam.
And I'm Adam. Today we're going to be talking about some news that came out about Keyforge, some of our favorite combos and cards, and there's one other thing. What we're going to talk about? Oh,
The new
the website we ran across.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we pulled up some of that. So let's jump right into it. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the announcement that Fantasy Flight Games made about the chain round events. So these are events where you know how, like, in the Keyforge app, it actually has the power level of each deck. So in the actual Fantasy Flight held tournament games at your local game store, these are the numbers and how you get that power level, all right? So let's say you're playing in a round of 4 to 8 people, and it's 3 rounds. So if you win only 1 time or 0 times, you lose the chain from your deck.
Okay.
So let's just remember that. If you win 2 times out of those 3 rounds, you add 2 chains. If you win 3 times, you add 3 chains. So if you go into a 4 to 8 player tournament and you just win all 3 of your rounds, your deck will be locked down for 3 chains the next time you use it in an event.
Okay, and then can you eventually bring it down, the chains?
If you lose a bunch.
Okay.
But here's where it gets more interesting even, is 9 plus players. So there's more than 8 players, and there's 4 rounds. Same deal, 1 or 0, you subtract 1. 2 wins, no change at all. 3 wins, you add 3 chains.
Wow.
4 wins, you add 4 chains. And then jumping over to, like, the power level. So the power level we talked about in there was something that we always wondered what that was going to mean. So if your deck has 1 to 6 chains on it, it's power level 1. If it's 7 to 12 chains, it's power level 2. So it kind of, like, if you look at that card that they make, like, bottom level is power 1, and then the second level.
Okay.
But 19 to 24 chains is power level 4. I could not imagine having a power level 3 or 4 deck and actually being able to win. So I feel like what's going to happen is, like, once you end up getting to, like, power level 4, you just, like, you're going to hit, like, 19 chains and you're just not going to be able to do
anything, really.
You
lose cards too from a chain.
You lose 5 cards for that, right? Like
4 cards.
Is it 4 cards? 4 cards, you're right. Because so 1 through 6 is 1 card less. So you think about it. So if you have 6 chains on you, if you have 6 chains on you, you are playing 6 less cards than your opponent. Yeah. Because you're drawing 1 less card for 6 turns. If you are in level 2, you're going to have, if you're at the max level 2 chains, that's 12, you're going to be having 24 less cards than your opponent. Right? Because it's going to take you, no, I did the math wrong. So it would take you 6 turns to get back down to level 1. So that'd be 12 cards, and then another 6. So 18 less cards?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Also, in one of the videos they talked about, like, they wanted to get their deck to power level 11 or something like that, or power level 9. I forget what it was. That's just impossible with the system they have in place. Like, no one's going to be over level 4. I'm actually sort of surprised by how brutal the chains are, but it might be needed because you might get a deck that is balanced out with 3 or power level 3 for that many chains on it. I also don't think you can lose power levels, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure they said in one of their videos that you don't lose power level.
You don't?
Yeah.
So you just go back to the same power level every single match? Around?
You can gain and lose chains, but power level is like something that you just work up to. Now, I didn't see that confirmed, but I know they did that in one of their Crucible Cast videos. But I'll have to go back and check that out. I can't imagine though just playing with like 13 chains on a deck. We should
That would be
experiment
crazy.
with that and see what happens.
You should.
We should like one of us take a very bad deck, like one of our worst decks, and one of us take our best deck
Okay.
and play with 13 chains or
Yeah.
even higher. That'd be insane. So anyway, what do you think of that? Do you think those numbers will fit pretty well with balancing out tournaments, or?
I mean, I think it would go well, but I kind of don't like the idea how they have the power level for every single match. I feel like you should be able to lose some.
You
And,
lose,
like-
but it's hard to lose some. Because, like, you think about, like, if you have a deck that did extremely well with no chains in a tournament, and if they add 4 chains to you, and then you come back to that same tournament, and you just win 2 times because the chains have been added to you,
Yeah.
you just are going to keep your 4 chains. It'll stay that way. But if you win 1 time, you'll lose a chain. If you win another 1 time, you lose a chain. You know what I mean? Like, it would take you a long time to lose your chains back down. So it really, really incentivizes people bringing new decks. Like, once your deck gets chained enough, like, you're going to want to play a different deck, probably. At
Yeah.
least I think I would.
Maybe.
Like, if I go to an Archon tournament, and I think once I got past power level 1, I got a deck to power level 2, I'm not sure if I'd want to play that deck again versus just grab a new deck that I think is good and play that one at an Archon tournament. Does that make sense?
It does, yes.
Hmm.
Because then you won't be at that power level and you won't lose that many cards.
And it also, imagine, I'm just thinking like here, as well as I'm reading through some of the comments and stuff on Reddit, there are going to be potential situations where 2 decks are chained, and say I have like 8 chains and you have 8 chains or 9 chains, and it ends up basically making 2 powerful decks be equally matched in that situation, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's it for the news that I've seen this past week. Maybe we'll jump over to the website that we want to talk about a little bit.
Yeah. So it's called Decks of Keyforge.
I'll pull that up too while we're talking. Keep going. So let's.
So it just tells you your deck level by card ratings.
So if you click
And
on
then
it too,
synergy.
so if you go to dexofkeyforge.com and like let's click. So right now we've got, where's his deck? Where's your deck? So you have the Ponderous Duelist of Dreadwiki.
Yep.
So it is rated at a 78 SAS score, which not really 100% sure what that stands for yet, but I'm betting that's something related to like, if I had to guess what that stands for, synergy and anti-synergy, or something like that. But anyway, he has a card rating of 71, plus 9 synergy and minus 2 anti-synergy. But if you go down to the bottom of that, and also we ran across this website, and it actually seems fairly accurate when we run our decks through there. For our stronger decks rate higher, and our lower decks seem to rate lower, and that's based on actual gameplay and how we've been thinking about it. And when I play at work, we actually have been running our decks through here and comparing the score going in. And it seems pretty reasonable. Like, if the scores are close, it's a very close game. And it's a really interesting way to do it. But if you click on it, you can get some more details, such as, like, you can get the number of creatures, the number of artifacts, the number of actions. You can also get, like, individual ratings. So, like, for example, he has Dust Pixie, and he has synergies with returns friendly creature to hand. And he does use that in that deck, and then replays it again. So that gave it like a synergy rating of 3/1. Lost Over the Woods. He has synergies with Good Play, which I'm not really sure what that's about. I'd have to think.
Yeah.
And high creature count. So the fact that he has like a high creature count makes that even better. Hunting Witch, high creature count synergy. He has good reap ability, so Dominator Bobble helps with that. He has, what is the name of that card? Anyway, that's cut off a little bit. But he has
Schuler or Schooler.
too much to
Schuler,
protect. Schuler.
The guy that if the opponent has 4 or more, steal 1.
Oh, that's right. That untamed artifact, right? Is that the one?
It's not an artifact.
It's a creature. Okay.
It's a creature.
Is it this creature that comes into play and does that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can kind of see where he is on the line. And I actually was looking. The highest scores I could find were in the low hundreds. And the highest deck that we've got right now is an 84.
Yeah. And that's the deck that beat me.
And that's the deck that beat this deck. The only deck that we found that can beat this deck. Mm-hmm. Which is very interesting. The card rating, the synergy. So you can kind of see like these graphs. And you can kind of see where it falls. And this deck consistently falls on the front end of that. Even on the anti-synergy side, it actually falls on the front end, which I would think is a bad thing. But total creature power, it shows the graph of like creature power as it moves up. But anyway, like we've been playing around with decks of Keyforge, and I actually like this better than the compendium that I was using before. That Keyforge compendium with the it just makes more sense to have one overall score value, whether or not it's completely accurate, right? You have to, and that's a whole other topic. Mm-hmm. Because our score values, do they really mean anything to us except for it gives us a way to like sort of see how the deck should be? But again, we found these to be probably the most accurate so far.
I think I have to agree. I mean, this seems way more easier to use and like find.
It really does. I agree. Maybe we should go through and like rate all of our decks because we haven't done that yet. Not every one of our decks. I've definitely ran quite a few through there, and I will say I did run into one issue, where I couldn't find a specific deck that I had because I've got a deck called Mr. Shatterchew.
You forgot to put the Mr.
But usually I can just search. I did try it with Mr. before, but I can't find like one of my decks in particular. So I will say,
did you register it?
It's definitely registered. I verified that.
Then, do they copy over from the Keyforge?
Well, it is Mr. Shatterchew with Shatter in quotes. I've tried putting Shatter in quotes. I've tried putting Mr. Shatter in quotes, and I just can't find that one particular deck, and I don't know why. So
that is pretty weird.
Anyway, I'd highly recommend checking it out. But remember though, you really have to play the deck to know. Like none of these things are going to be perfect. Well, if you're like us and have a large amount of decks, it kind of gives you an idea of where the deck is. And we'll probably go through all of our decks maybe before next week and see what our lowest deck is and what our highest deck is. I bet we have some pretty low decks. But it'd be cool to see that. If you had to say right now, what do you think the score is of our lowest deck?
20s.
You think in the 20s? I really don't even know. Like, I'm betting... Because if I looked at that graph, I'm trying to remember what the low numbers were, but I think there were like 20s and 30s. We probably have a 20 or 30s deck in there. Mm-hmm. And I really do think 84 is our highest because that's the strongest deck we've played so far. But I bet we have some other high 70s in there. Like your deck, for example, 76, 78.
Yeah.
And I think the anti-synergy stuff and the synergy is a great way to look at a deck because that is what this game is about. Is building cards or finding decks that work well together in very cool ways. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's move over to a new segment that we're going to do. And that segment is going to be what's our favorite card? What's our favorite combo or interaction? And it could be any of those. So like if we just have a card that we want to talk about, or if we have an interaction we want to talk about, we're going to do that right now. So Adam, what is your card interaction for the week?
My card or my action. Okay. So my card is probably Full Moon.
Okay.
I've just learned about it, and I think it's pretty awesome. It's where whenever you play a creature, gain an amber for playing it, and it's an action card, I believe.
That is a good card.
Yeah. And if you, like, compare it with, like, Hunting Witch, you can get even more amber from it, which is pretty cool. And for my action...
Oh, interactions.
Interactions.
Like how cards work together.
So I think one interesting interaction I've been thinking about is, like, I think you did this to me one time. Full Moon, Hunting Witch, and then I don't think you had, like, Dust Pixie, though, but if you did have Dust Pixie...
That would be a cool thing.
Yeah. And if you also had, like, Key Charge, or...
A way to, like, forge the key right away right after that?
That'd be pretty awesome. To already have a key right away, because you were messing with me a lot.
Yeah. So I have done that. I do have a deck that has, what is that, Full Moon?
Yes.
The Full Moon? And I have a deck that has...
Hunting Witch.
Hunting Witch. And I have been able to save up a full handful of untamed creatures. And I have done, like, Full Moon, Hunting Witch. That give you 1 amber. And then 4 other creatures right away. So that's 2 amber each. And that just feels really good.
Yeah.
And I did that to somebody at work the other day. And I don't remember... And I also had some other untamed creatures out. And he had made me, like, skip my forge step and stuff like that. But anyway, when I ended that turn, I had almost 20 amber. I think it was like 19 amber.
Wow.
And it was pretty brutal because he still ended up beating me because he was just like a half a turn or a turn ahead of me.
And he kept skipping you.
And basically I had I had Logos too, and to stop him, this is where it gets brutal. Mm-hmm. To stop him, I had to make myself and him lose half of our amber to buy me another turn.
Yeah.
So I forged a key, made myself lose half an amber, half his amber, half my amber, and half of his amber. And that was the only way I could keep from losing. All right, so I have to talk about, for mine of the week, Key Abduction. And Key Abduction is a card that I've never personally made work, but it's a card, like, I'm going to actually read the text so that way we get it exactly right here. So it's a Mars card. When you play it, it is an action. When you play it, return each Mars creature to its owner's hand. So that's for both people. Then you may forge a key at 9 plus the current cost.
Wow.
Reduced by 1 amber for each card in your hand. Now, I was playing a game that I was actually winning, so I had 2 keys to 1. And my opponent played this. Ended up, so key value at that point was 5, just to put that in perspective. So I had my Logos card that makes keys cost 1 less if on the flank.
Yeah.
Returned all Mars cards to our hands, and he ended up with 13 cards in his hand.
13. Wow.
So you think about this: 9 plus 5 is 14.
Yeah.
And 1 less for each card in his hand. He forged a key for 1 amber.
1. Wow.
And then he replayed all his Mars creatures again. So now we're tied up to 2-2.
Yeah.
Both of us are at the bottom of our decks. Oh, also you get an amber for playing this card. That's also the other interesting thing. Mm-hmm. So we ended up cycling through our decks, and I had enough amber. He was at 5 amber. It went to my turn. I had earned enough amber to get my 3rd key, but I had no quick way to forge it. So I was like, okay, I think I've wore him down enough now so that he's going to play a turn and then I'm going to win. But no, he got his Key Abduction again from his deck, returned all my Mars creatures. I had just played 5 to my hand.
Yeah.
He had 2, returned it to his hand. The turn before he had played Logos and drawn a bunch of cards, so he already had a bunch. And anyway, he ended up forging a key for 7 that time and won the game. So, like, Key Abduction can work surprisingly well, especially against a deck like I was playing, where I was constantly messing with his amber.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't even believe that he was able to forge a key for 1 amber. The second time was a little bit more what you would expect, like 7 amber. Mm-hmm. But still, like, the fact that he forged 2 of his keys in a game
with Key
Abduction was pretty awesome. So I thought that was pretty awesome. So anyway, that's it for me for this week. You got anything else to add?
No, I'm good.
All right. Our tournament is coming up February 2nd. We also are going to be part of Extra Life, 24-hour gaming for charity. And we'll probably try to do some Keyforge during that. That is in the middle of February. I'll probably post a link in the video below if you want to help donate to support that cause. We're going to be playing more than just Keyforge. We're going to be playing video games, and my company holds it like in our fun area out at the office. And right now we have 84 people signed up.
84, wow.
Now that includes employees and friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm betting more than 100, but I bet not many people will be able to make it the full 24 hours. So, be on the lookout for that link and donate if you can to help us out. Anyway, until next time, keep playing Keyforge. We'd love to hear your favorite cards or your favorite interactions or like cool stories that you've had playing Keyforge recently. Till next time.
Till next time.
See you later.